Raton. Oh.
He's good about it. I don't think there's anybody in town that does it except for you, right?
Wally goes.
Wally goes, yeah.
Does Wally go?
Yeah.
Drive all the way over there?
I don't know, he goes every
Every other
time.
day I think Wally goes.
Let's go. Christmas.
Okay, let's call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Camilla?
Here.
Joey?
Here.
Tom?
Here.
Nancy? Cy?
Here. Additions or communications, oral or written? I don't think, is there anything that we have, additions or communications? Nope. I'd like to point out that Tom brought us all in a colored copy, which is huge, of the media buy plan again for us to review and go over, make sure we keep it by our side, and thank you so much for that, Tom. That is huge. We should be having this with us.
Yep.
All the time. Thanks. Approval of the minutes, has everybody had time to review the minutes from December's meeting?
I motion to approve the minutes.
Second?
I'll second.
Tom seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Approval of the invoices. There's, I don't know if everybody's had time to go through them. It's Builder Supply, Phillips, Co-Designerly Solutions, Fulfillment Postage, Outfront Media Billboards, Savoya Wholesale, the ads for the National Park Journal, the Chronicle News, and from Cedar Street Printing.
And, on that note, Cy, everybody at their place has a copy of the, Colorado National Park Journal with the ad in it. I'm not sure what page it's on, but,
Page 32.
31.
31.
31, 32.
Yeah, 31, 32.
So the copy, the text copy is on 32 and the ad's on 31.
Okay.
Motion to approve the invoices?
Motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second?
I second it.
Tom, is it, and Joey, everybody's okay? Approved. New business. Radio station, LMNOC.
Yes.
I've invited Chris Munoz with the LMNOC to, present on the new radio, the possible radio, location in Trinidad. So Chris, if you wanna step up?
Yes.
Can I use projector, to use?
Yes. We probably should have set that up sooner. Let's see. Is it coming up on here?
It's on.
Did you plug it in? Almost looks like the same color as it did on the other. Except for, got it? Okay.
Thank you guys, everybody, I've given everyone a card, thank you guys. Chris Munoz, LMNOC Broadcasting. LMNOC's acronym is my wife, kids, and myself, Lori, Megan, Nathan, Olivia, Chris. Jojo Valdez is my director of sales. We're based out of Taos. We also own Mix 106.5, which is the newest radio station in your area. We built it with a license out of the FCC in the summer of 2017. The signal's supposed to cover Trinidad. We actually inked a deal with the city of Trinidad to put a booster on Simpsons Plus because we needed to get a booster in here because our signal actually goes right over the town. So we spent quite a bit of money on new technology, building the tower on a mountaintop on Eagle Tail Mountain, which is just south of your city. This is south in between Raton and Springer. 15 minutes. I'll make it quick. I wanted to kind of give you a quick overview of our company. I've got 15 minutes, so I'm going to do an abbreviated version. So if I just get through real fast, if you have any questions, let me know. We talked about what the acronym. Executive summary, we have 6 radio stations. 95.9 The Mountain is a top 40 station. All 5 of these stations are based in Taos. 99.1 is a Spanish regional Mexican music station. The Voice of Truth, KVOT, is 98.1 at 1340 AM. It's contemporary Christian music. 99.9 is the Enchanted Circle country station. It reaches Taos, Angel Fire, Red River. Mix 106.5 is the other 100,000 watt station that we have, which is a station that we're looking at hopefully move into Trinidad. This summer is a targeted date, but obviously we're looking to see when the construction and when the finalization of the building will be done. And then Thunder 105.5 is our rock station. It plays classic rock from 70s, 80s, 90s, all the way to current. One of the things that we pride ourselves in doing, we purchased the stations, like I mentioned earlier, from the previous mayor in Taos 4 years ago, November of 2015. With my vision, I looked at how could we extend the footprint of the listeners that we have to help bring tourism and also to help local businesses grow and thrive. The way I looked at it, I come from a major city. I come from Houston. I manage radio TV stations in Dallas, Austin, and Houston. A lot of population here, not so much, very sporadic. A lot of radio signals do reach in certain areas, but because you're mountainous terrain, a lot of signals do get broken up. So I developed digital apps. Digital apps can work with a phone signal and with Wi-Fi. Since most of the homes in this area and businesses have Wi-Fi, we can actually have our stations piped in where other signals may not penetrate buildings. And so with my vision, I wanted to extend the footprint not just for my listeners, but for the cities, the towns that we represent, and for the business owners. So I developed digital apps, and we'll just go straight to it. On the digital app platform, we have 6 stations with all 6 digital apps. We can actually have a banner ad that will run across the top. If you look at picture 2, you'll see a Canico dispensary that's down the street was advertising. We just happened to screenshot it, and it was the one that came up at the time. We can link your town or your city events that are going on, whether you have a concert, whether you have a Christmas tree lighting, whatever you have, we can customize a banner, and where the picture of the face is, when the app's open, we can actually have a 10-second audio before the apps actually start, and we can have those linked to either a Facebook page or a website. So if you have a particular landing page on a website that is promoting an event in your city, if you have a Facebook page that's promoting something, and people tend to change their Facebook pages a lot more than their websites now, any URL that we have, we can link that to it. It doesn't matter as long as I have a URL. If you have a URL to a video on YouTube, I can link it to that. And so we can actually promote whatever the city is having that's timely at that time, and we can change those banner ads at any time. So if you wanna run a campaign or multiple campaigns simultaneously, we can do that as well. The reason that I wanna bring my station to Trinidad is because I think that there's a lot more promise here than Raton. The city is growing. I read up on the new city park that you guys have. I just see that the future of my company will do well by promoting itself in a city like Trinidad. So I'm working right now with Wally and trying to facilitate a location in the new building, and I'm not sure what the name of the building is. You guys may know better. It's the new building.
Is it the Space Crate?
It's
Is that where it's at?
Yes, and the new facility. And so we're having dialogue with that. I've already started working with the city of Trinidad because, like I said, we had to put a booster here. And so Greg, who was previously here at the city, we signed an agreement to put our booster, which only uses 250 watts. It's like a 250 watt light bulb. It's very low technology, but it actually takes our signal that's passes right over the city, and because Simpson's Rest is so high, it snatches that signal and disperses that signal into Trinidad proper, so we can actually get the city, or signal into the city. When we move our station here, we won't need to have that because we'll be able to use a microwave dish to be able to attract that signal, and it'll be a lot stronger signal once we do move that.
Where would that dish be at?
It could just go on a rooftop of wherever. I mean, we could put cinder blocks. It's a small piece of equipment. It doesn't take up much space. It's very lightweight. It's like a old UHF antenna that we used to catch TV signals with. It's that small. And so that's kind of my hopes and dreams. We've got analytics, as you can see at the top of this page. When we developed these apps in October 2015, we've already garnered over 1.8 million listener sessions. I will show you the top 10 cities of where our apps attract listeners. Top 10 markets, all of our stations combined, Denver, Colorado, we have 137,561 listener sessions that are coming out of Denver, which has me believing that the majority of the people that are coming in, that are downloading our apps, are from that city. It's just so easy proximity for them to come in and ski or visit your city or visit this region. And so that's the largest city. So you had a question?
Yeah, I had a question. So I guess it's maybe because it's digital. So I'm trying to figure out why Denver and Colorado Springs gets reception, but we don't here in Trinidad.
It's all because it's a digital app, and on the digital app, you can go on your iPhone, you can go on your Android, and this also includes listeners on our website. What we try to do, and what we do to maintain the listener profile to be organic, is we only promote over the air. So over the air is called terrestrial. So all the airways terrestrial that you get in your car or your home, that's just over the air, we only advertise over the air for people that like our station to download our apps and take them home with us. That's our slogan. If you like our station, download it, take it home with you. And obviously over the last 4 years, it's worked. The reason that we keep it organic is because we want people that have been in this area, in your backyard, that have listened to the station, that have had a great time here visiting, that have listened to the station and have an affinity to download the app and take it back home and listen to it. We're not out in Denver and buying airtime or TV time or doing social media posts that affect that region. We only promote it over the air. And the reason we wanted to keep it organic is because we know by keeping it organic, these are true representations of people that have found the stations here and have had an affinity to like the stations, have had a great time here, and say, hey, listen, I'm listening to this station. I'm in Trinidad, I'm in Raton, I'm in the Enchanted Circle area. I had a great time here. I'm listening to this radio station. It sounds better than any radio station that I'm listening to either online or back home, and I'm listening to it when I get back home. Now we have a company that hosts our, I don't know what I just pressed. We have a company that hosts our apps. I design them, they develop them for me, so all of the features that are on the apps are things that come from my brainchild. So we have a lot of different tools, and I can show you the app and kind of walk you through and show you all the different things that the apps do. It's not just a traditional app. We have a YouTube channel, so we can post videos on our YouTube channel and host them for you. We have ways that you can like or dislike the song, so that we're programming music for the listeners in this region. So when people are listening to the station and they like the songs, they give us a thumb up or thumbs down. It goes straight to our programmers. We have features where you can wake up to our station, you can check out our website, you can check out our Facebook, all on the app. So it has a lot of cool features, and the reason that we do that is because we want to try to make sure that when people are listening, they stay tuned to our app. They're not bouncing in and out. So we get more analytics in this, and I've gone with Marty and actually logged into our portal to show you all the different variations of reports that we get. So we can tell when listeners are listening, we can tell you how long the listeners are listening. Obviously you see the top 10 markets. We can tell you how many ads are served while people are listening on the different days.
I'm trying to shut, I just touched to see if your app worked, and it works. I just can't get it off now.
Here, I'll get it.
I was wondering what.
That's the whole idea.
Is that your ringtone?
Once you're on, you're on, right? So now that she's got it open, I'll go ahead and give you, it's got the album cover of the artist that you can see with the title of the song, and you can see that our station's streaming across there. And so at the bottom, it has a thumbs up or thumbs down at the bottom. You've probably seen the thumbs up or thumbs down on other applications. Okay, and so we have a menu bar, and the menu bar is the upper left-hand corner. And so you can hit the menu bar, and if my fat fingers, the screen slides over. And so now you can go in, and you can request a song. So I can press that and request a song. And you can go in, so all of the listeners that are here are going to request a song. They can put in their name, their email address, request a song. That lights up, and it sends it right to the DJ in real time. So you don't even have to call the DJ. But check this out. So you can check out our website, you can check out our Facebook, you can check out our YouTube video channel on different videos. So if you've got a business here, let's just say the car dealership has a 30-second TV commercial. We can host that, and we can promote that as well. So if somebody's driving through and they're like, hey, you know what, they've got a Jeep Chrysler Dodge dealership, let's check out their inventory. And we've got a video that Mr. Cook has put a video together. They can see the inventory. So there's a lot of different things. If you got a video from last year's event, maybe you got a 4th of July event and somebody edited some video for you, or if you want us to come in and shoot some from this 4th of July, we can actually make a video. And if people say, hey man, I'm in Denver, I want to check out what they're doing for 4th of July, we can categorize it and say, hey, what's going on 4th of July in Trinidad? They can see the video and they're like, hey, I'm down for that. You got a hotel and you've got a banner running across the top, and say, oh, you know, for 4th of July, I'm doing a rent for the entire weekend, and we'll give you free breakfast, and I'll give you $10 off each day. And there's a banner ad right there, and I can link it directly to the landing page for that. So the rest of the public won't get that, but everybody on the app will go to a specific landing page that you have with that 4th of July special or whatever you have. So there's a lot of different ways to reach these people. And the beautiful thing about it is, for every campaign that you do, even if you run multiple campaigns simultaneously, the company that hosts our analytics will give us analytics, and it will tell you how many people saw the 10-second opening audio that started the app and all the banner ads. So you'll get gross impressions, people that see it, even on our website. You'll get gross impressions, you'll get engagements, how many people have actually engaged and clicked in it. So you can start looking at the engagements. Now, with Canico, with Doug, when he advertised with us, what he did was he had his website guy meta tag everybody that came through our app. In 8 months, he spent $16,000. He generated over $325,000 in revenue because everybody's device has an IP address. And so people don't realize how much of personal information is on your phone. So he was able to extract that information, build a database, and when people came in, he was able to cross-reference it on people that were looking at his products online and how many people actually came through, because you have to show your ID. And he was able to cross-reference it. So he roughly guesstimated in 8 months, he generated about $325,000 in revenue. And that's his words to me. And so he literally stopped advertising. He's like, Chris, they told their friends and they told their friends, and I can't tag them because they're just referrals. And he goes, my business just flourished. So he made a great investment. And so we can do that with the town or the city. We can do that with businesses. This is what we're trying to do. We're trying to make sure that the people that have been here, the 37,000 listeners from Denver, the 59,000 from Albuquerque, the 49,000 from Dallas, all of those people can hear your message on these stations at any given time, so that you're on all 6 of our platforms and not just the one, and be able to get the people that have come to this region, that have passed through 25, and get them to stop to do some trade, to do some business with your city. And I don't know how to get your app back open.
That's okay, we don't need to.
Yeah, and so it's got a lot more features. You can also press one button and it shows you the last hour of promotions that we've done, the last hour of artists that we've played, the names and titles, the last commercials that have ran, business owners like that, so you can see, oh, when did my commercial run, because I missed it. And so there's quite a bit of other features that we have on there. You can call the DJs live with one of the buttons. So if you're driving and you don't remember the number, you just hit the button, the phone number pops up, and boom, you can call the DJ live and, enter a contest. If you're driving down the road and they're saying, hey, be the 10th caller to win tickets to XYZ, you don't have to have it as a phone number in your phone. You can just hit a button in the phone number. So it's very user friendly. I don't know, I'm kind of opening it up to questions, because I can go on, I can talk about all the other stations and what we do with the other stations, but I really just wanted to introduce myself. We're family owned and operated. We don't have any investors. Everything comes out of my wife and myself's back pocket. So we're from a little bitty town just south of Houston. We bought some property up here in the mountains. We're going to build a house in, but when our youngest one graduates in a couple of years, we're going to be your neighbor. We love this area. The people are super friendly. Kind of tired of the big city, and always wanted to live in the mountains, and that's kind of it in a nutshell. So if you have any questions, I'd love to take some questions.
No, I think it just opened up a little bit more for me for digital and how that can be for me.
Yeah, yes, definitely.
To get downtown Taos from the Trinidad.
Right, and I think that's a little bit of this Buxton is looking for is cities that are closer to Trinidad, to bring them in also as the use of I-25. So I could see that.
And that's really the whole reason why we're doing what we're doing, is because my Aunt JoJo is a resident of Taos. He's been there for forever, and he actually worked for the previous owner. I was fortunate enough to get him back on just recently. He actually started Monday with me. But when he was the marketing manager for the casino, and when I showed him my presentation, he's like, compared to what the previous owner's done and what you're doing and what your vision is and what we're looking to do forward, you've literally blurred the line between Colorado and New Mexico, because the listeners in New Mexico are here in Colorado businesses. Same thing, folks that are listening to our stations that bleed into Colorado, and I'll show you our coverage map real quick. I think it's very important to look at the coverage maps. We've literally blurred the line in 4 years. There's the Colorado borderline. If you can see that right above the KKTC, and you see Raton and Trinidad there. So KXMT is our Spanish station. We play regional Mexican music, Tejano music, which is out of Texas, but we also play reggaeton, which is more island Spanish music. We play Spanish rock and Spanish pop, so the Jennifer Lopez's and the Pitbulls of the world and the Daddy Yankees. We play all of that as well. It trends well with the younger generation, and we're always trying to keep our listeners young. KNMF is the Mix 106.5. So you see just over the air terrestrial where our signals cover. With our digital apps, that has no borders. We have tons of listeners that are listening in Mexico, on our apps. We have tons of listeners that are listening in different countries on our apps that have come here.
I like the coverage area because of, what we like to do is get a lot of day trippers to come into this area. And I think that's a good, map there as a section of which you cover.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, and the beautiful thing about it is if you're doing 30 seconds or 60-second commercials, everybody that's hearing your message over the air is also hearing it on the apps. You can do a digital campaign, which is different because it has the banner ads and the links, but just your 30-second, your 60-second commercials over the air are reaching that. What I mentioned earlier about working a deal with the City of Trinidad for the area of space that we use our booster, the City of Trinidad has 100 minutes of airtime on my stations per year for our agreement. So you already have in your coffers 100 minutes, and you can do that as 160 seconds or 230 seconds, 30-second commercials in your coffers to use on top of any of your largest tax that you would like to help me with my costs. Obviously, everybody needs money to stay afloat and to prosper. So you already have those dollars or those spots that we would gladly have you utilize to help you promote all of the things that are happening with your city as our partnership exists currently.
Thank you.
So Chris, currently the KMF is only in Trinidad right now, that's the only broadcast right now?
Well, it's the signal is
The
actually
signal.
licensed. Yeah, the tower signal is actually licensed with the FCC in Springer. So I was able to put the tower on Eagletail, which is between Raton and Trinidad. It had an 80-year-old rule that just changed at the end of 2017 from the FCC. You used to have to, as broadcasters, used to have their studio in the city of license, okay? And because I was not able to get a signal from Springer to my tower, because Springer sat so low, I would have had to build another 100-foot tower. And so by FCC and the way their guidelines are set up, because I was going to incur another cost, I could actually move my studios to the next city. And so I moved the studios to Raton. That was in July of 2017 when we went live.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of that year, in December, the FCC, before they closed for the winter break, ruled on an 80-year-old rule that says, enough of that. There's too much technology, there's too much advanced technology to be able to do that. So they did away with that rule. And now, as a owner of a station, I can move my studios anywhere. And so Trinidad, for me and my wife, we investigated, did our due diligence. We feel that Trinidad is exactly what we're wanting. Mm-hmm. So now that the 80-year rule got passed after we built it, and we can move it, we're gonna move it here. And like I said, we had early talks with Wally about the new facility. It sounds like something that we'd really like to get involved with. We really want to be a component of Trinidad. We really want to be a pillar in the community and kind of a leader in the community in the broadcast industry, and we want to make sure that we help promote your city and everything that you guys are doing.
How does the company find you? Like, say someone's driving, besides, like, what is it,
106.5.
106.5. How does somebody find your station on the radio? You know, do you have a billboard anywhere where they could actually tune in? You know, because if they don't know where you are or how to find you, they're not going to listen to you. Or to us if we market.
But then you have a new market though, so like I just downloaded your app, so if I wanna start listening to Taos Radio, I can listen to it anytime, no matter if I'm traveling or not, which is interesting, kind of replaces the old Siri time stations like across America.
Because I mean, I listen to Pandora all the time, it's pretty much what I go to, or music, Apple Music. But my question is so if you're coming from northern part of Denver, how is a listener gonna catch your broadcast, you know, coming down? You know, from Denver, Colorado Springs, even Walsenburg, how are they gonna know, okay, I'm in this territory? Because, you know, when I'm traveling from Denver, once you hit right above Colorado Springs, you stop listening to all the Denver stations because they go out. How does a listener gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna switch to your station now and see what's going on, you know, and listen to you?
Great answer. So to kind of give you a little history about myself, I did 15 years of radio first. I actually cut my teeth selling advertising as a rookie at 23. Okay, so I did 15 years of that. I started managing radio and TV stations 7 years after I started in the business. I did 10 years of television. I had that question asked to me all the time. Okay? It's funny, when you're traveling down the road and you're listening to music, you want something to entertain you. Now, if you're the Pandora listener or you've got XM radio, I still get people that say, I want to hear what's going on locally. So they start hitting seek, they start hitting scan, and that's how they find us. And just over the 4 years, you saw how many listeners we have on our apps. Think about this. Think about how small each town in its own right is with population. I think Taos County is probably maybe 40,000 people, you know, and then obviously you've got Santa Fe, you've got Alamosa that we reach over the air. We've now, in only a couple of years now that we've been on the air here, we've had 1.8 million people that have come into this area, could probably stayed a long time. They download, not only did they hear our station over the air, but they had, think about what they had to do. They had to like our station enough. They had to hear our promo that says that we have apps, download it, take it home. So they go to their device, they download the apps, they have it on their phone, and more importantly, when they go back to Denver, think about how many radio stations are over the air in Denver right now. Think about how many stations are over the air in Dallas. And those are programmed in your dash. Okay, with today's technology, and everybody, even yourself, like you just said, you listen to Pandora, which is on your device, some of them have it in the cars, the newer cars. Everybody's listening to their device now, and that's the reason why we developed the apps, is because technology. We wanted to make sure that we continue to super serve our listeners that are listening terrestrial, but everybody has a mobile phone now. My mom is 80 years old, and she's on Facebook, and she has apps on her phone. So everybody can Bluetooth their device to their vehicles now, because almost all the vehicles now, unless you're driving a clunker, you know, most vehicles now all have Bluetooth capabilities. And so they're Bluetoothing us when they wake up in the morning and they're driving to work in Denver or Dallas or whatever major city and are listening to our stations. Or they're streaming us online when they're in their office during the day, because you go to lmnocbroadcasting.com and you can stream our stations as well. And these analytics reflect those as well, because SecureNet monitors our website as well as our apps. So the answer to your question is, you always ponder how they find us, but they seek and scan and they find us, especially when you're coming into a smaller town that you may or may not know. The first thing you want to do is you want to find out what's happening locally. I mean, I had a lot of people when we first developed the apps, and they're like, yeah, okay. And so I never really promoted the numbers, because I wanted to get the numbers up. And so you get 2 years, 3 years, and now 4 years under your belt, and those numbers grow, and everybody starts paying attention. Like, okay, you knew what you were talking about 4 years ago. You just had to get the numbers where they needed to be before you start really.
Well, and I remember talking to you. I talked to you at Bricks along probably about 2 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
So definitely you've grown, you know,
Yeah.
as far as the map and stuff and your coverage for sure. So.
And from a tourism perspective, what I think would be best is if there is, say he's got, how many did you have in Denver? 100,000?
137,000.
Is that they have the digital form, because they like Taos, so they like to listen to Taos music, and by us advertising to those 100,000 people to find out what's going on with Taos, they say, oh, well, Trinidad's on the way, we'll make our first night stop here or something. That's what I like about it.
I always use the, because I'm an advertising agency as well in Houston, and I always tell clients, I'll give you for instance, right now, I'm on the 21st, I'm pitching a car dealership based out of Calgary, and they're buying 50 car dealerships between Calgary and the United States. And when I talk to the CFO and the COO, you know, there's so many different platforms to advertise on. You've got television, you've got radio, you've got outdoor, you've got social media, you've got digital, you've got all these platforms. And what I tell all of my advertisers, and you will be an advertiser even though you're the city, is if you don't invite people to your party, how are they going to know they're invited? How are they going to know they're welcome? How are they going to know about you? You've got to send the invitation out, and this is my form of giving you my listeners, and all you have to do is send your invitation out to them and invite them into whatever it is that you want to do, because that's how you're going to continue to grow and grow your bottom line and generate more revenue.
That was the best way to put it. That's what I like.
Okay, anybody have any other questions, and do we have cost figures?
We don't, because I customize everything. It's all based on seasonality, it's based on what you're looking at, 30s versus 60s. So if you tell me kind of what your budget is or what your seasonality is, if you've got certain things that you want to focus on, I can look at my inventory and I can price it accordingly so that you're getting the best price.
This is the way I think it's been going for us, is a couple of TV stations, radio stations, newspapers, and they've been putting a package together for us. And then either we can customize from that package that you put together for us, or we can ask you if you could do something for us in another way. That's the way we've kind of been doing it.
Sure.
If you would be interested in doing something like that.
I work in, I look at every entity as an individual. So however you want me to price it out, however you want me to look at it, I can do it. I can slice the pie 20 different ways. So whatever's comfortable for you, just let me know, and I can go in and put something together based on either a budgetary, per spot rate, seasonality. I can look at it, different ways. What I always try to do is I try to ask enough questions to find out what exactly you're trying to achieve, so that I can put the best program together to achieve your goal at the lowest expense possible.
My thing is day trippers in the area that you're coming out of. I don't know, Joey or Si or Mel, the way they see it,
Well, I think one of the things that we have coming up, of course, is we have the Space Train opening this summer, partially. Those are some things that we need to look at to try to, like I said, to try to attract people to not only stay, like you said, a day trip, but also multiple day trips.
Not only those two new things that are coming, but
The other
also the
things.
things that we do have, like,
Right.
like I have, some things I wrote down about Monument Lake. It's a 365 acre resort. We have a 20-room hotel. We have 13 cabins there. These are the things that I want to promote, things that are city owned, and in your area, that's what I'd like to see as day trippers come.
Well, what we need to do, we need to advertise those entities in the area that are gonna, what I call, create a memory. Because if they create a memory, what they'll do is they will invite other people to come here, and they will come back with it as well.
And with that same philosophy is the same philosophy that I developed the apps. Is because if you're listening to the station and you're having a great memory, and that's one of our sayings is create memory. If you're creating that memory, music is nostalgic. Everybody can remember when they had their first kiss on that date and they were listening to this song, whether it was the Rolling Stones or whatever you were listening to. Music is nostalgic. And if we can continue to program music that's indicative to this region while they're here and making those memories, that's what makes them download the apps. That's what they say, hey, you know what, I had such a great time there. I listened to this station, I had a great time. They have an app, I'm going back home, I'm gonna find out what's going on, because now they have an affinity to be in that area because they created memory and the music was a part of that memory. And so now we have a conduit. We have those listener ears that we own between all the different cities of all these people that come. And what's so funny is the majority of the advertising that's done from the cities and the towns in this region and the ski areas in this region, that they go out and spend hundreds of thousands and combine millions of dollars to reach out to those cities, are almost the same representation of the people that are downloading our apps. And so when I go in and I meet with the CEO of Towski Valley, when I'm meeting with the mayor and the city council and the town manager of these different towns, and I'm asking where are you spending your dollars, your outside marketing dollars to bring, it's almost a replication of the people that are coming into this area downloading our apps. It's almost a mirror image. When I show them, they're like, that's true, because that's where we're reaching out to get these people to come in. And so with Albuquerque, it's so close, we really don't have to advertise to them. They just come in and drive in over the weekend and hang out for a concert or go mountain biking or what have you. If they're art aficionados, they come in for art. So Albuquerque might be the anomaly, which they really don't reach out to, but because its proximity is so close. Same thing with Colorado Springs. Colorado Springs is so close, they're just coming in to get away from the city. They're coming south to come check out what's happening here.
And so can you tell, and maybe that's what you meant by what you just said, but can you tell how many people have downloaded the app?
Yes, we can. Yeah, we just go to our Google and our iTunes account and we, yes. And so, and what we were talking about earlier is if you're running a campaign for bricks, we can give you analytics either at the end of the campaign, or if you're signed a 12-month deal, every month we can send you an email with the analytics straight. So you have a campaign, once you have a campaign, SecureNet that hosts our apps, we put that order in, and so you've got a number. So we go in and say, okay, Joey wants to see his analytics for his campaign. We go to Joey's campaign, we log into our portal, we give them the order number, and they tell us how many people have actually engaged, or how many gross impressions, how many people have seen, how many people have heard their 10-second ad that opens the app. So there are 3 different components of analytics that we get, and we send it to you. And then what we'll do is Jojo or myself will sit down with you and analyze those analytics. Maybe you get 3 or 4 months before we start really delving into what those analytics mean. What campaign did you run here, and if it was doing great, what campaign did you run here, maybe it didn't do so great, maybe we don't do that campaign anymore. Maybe we do more of the campaign that had great analytics or something similar, has a component that's similar to that, so that we can continue to drive as much people to your website or your Facebook page or whatever you want on your kidney video, so that we're making sure that we're hitting the mark for you. Because at the end of the day, when you're investing money, you want to make sure that you're getting that return. And so when we're looking at it and we're increasing those analytics by looking at your gross impressions and your reach, it should be coincided with your revenue. When you start seeing that revenue go up, you're like, okay, when I'm hitting on all cylinders, I can see my revenue tail up, go up. And so that's what we want to do. We want to make sure that we're in constant contact with you guys to make sure that everything that we're doing for you is maximizing your results.
Okay,
Awesome.
sounds great. So, what kind of, would you like to put a package together? What do you think, Tom?
Yes.
Yeah.
Might I suggest then that we start working on what we want to utilize those 100 minutes of free advertising for to start with, and then maybe we can develop some ideas on what we want to do from there as far as banner ads or YouTube videos or whatever we want to do.
When I came into the market 4 years ago, we fell in love with this area. We literally, my wife and I came in here in September. We put an offer off in September to buy the stations. Our attorneys, or FCC attorneys, negotiated in October. I developed the apps in October because I knew I wanted these stations. So if you saw our analytics, they actually started a month before we legally took the stations over, which was November of 2015. So we already had analytics working. The reason I say that is because we had to do our research to find out what's the magic number for 30-second commercials to run on a weekly basis in order to get good results. The magic number is 35. Should run at least 35 commercials on any one of my stations in prime time. Prime time is Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Those are prime time. So if you're running at least 35 commercials a week in those areas, you should have a successful campaign. So you see how quick 100 minutes goes. So that's really a good indication of what you should be budgeting for. So like yourself, if you want to talk about the summer seasons and going to your new park, what are we going to do? How many weeks out, how many months out are we going to get people to start planning? Because people plan in advance. They want to know what they're doing. So when the snow melts, we want to hit the airwaves a good 2 to 3 weeks prior to that, so we can start getting people, hey man, the weather's starting to get great, we got a great park out here, we have cabins out here, we got multiple hotels out here, we can list all the different hotels that are involved, you tell me what you want, on how you want to carve that up, and we'll create the spot for you at no cost.
So media kit then, Chris, that kind of outlines or lines out each what a banner ad costs, how large the ad sizes are, what, if you could put together a media kit that I can bring back to them, and then
I've got that. I can
design a campaign.
I'll tell you all the pixel sizes that you'll need for the mobile devices, because you'll need different pixel sizes for iPhone, you'll need a different pixel size for Androids, and you'll need a different pixel size for the website. And so I have all that information, and I can email that to you in email form, and, I just have it sent to you, and you can disseminate the information to everybody.
Right now, we have 100 minutes that
Yes,
are
sir.
being utilized currently, correct?
We haven't utilized any, I'm waiting. I tried to get in touch with Greg, and Greg left, and so nobody was really, and then so Mike and Wally kind of picked up the ball, and Wally introduced me to Marty, and so here we are. And
How long have we had those 107 minutes?
they started when we put the booster up, which was last spring, I believe it was April of last year.
And we haven't utilized them since you given it to us.
Yeah, and so we try to do calendar to calendar, so April to April. Obviously, 100 minutes will go fast, so if
Right.
you've got anything between now and April, that would be great. If you do need an extension, no problem, I can extend it because, you know, we are getting a late start on it. I don't wanna ding anybody because there was nobody at the helm. So you
Well, we're just starting now into our advertising for the summer and fall season. So, we could use those 107 minutes between now and April, and then if you put a package together, us, we can pick from that package as to what we would set the waiting schedule. So,
Yep.
Absolutely.
Thank
I'll
you,
have that out to you this afternoon.
Perfect, okay,
Thank
thank you
you.
very much.
Great, you
Thank
guys have
very
my
much.
mobile number on my card, so if you guys have any questions along the way, or need to tell me something that's happening and give me a heads up,
Here's one of my cards here.
please, reach out to me. I put my number, my mobile number on there for a reason. I stay in contact with everybody, so reach out to me. Email is great as well.
Thanks a
Thank
lot.
you guys
Thank
for your time, I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A.R. Mitchell, Art Cartopia, and grant reports.
I didn't get the A.R. Mitchell report, but we did get the Art Cartopia quarterly report, it's in the packet.
Take care, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I thought, did I see something from Allison in here though?
You, not from Allison, what
To
you see in
Allison.
there is the grant extension, so
Oh.
we'll go into that next.
Okay. And just to mention about this, if, you know, like, if you spend a weekend in Aspen and you really liked their digital radio, so you decided to download it on your phone, and we did advertising in Aspen as an example, that's one way to actually really hit a market, right? If we find really cool radio stations that we really like, that we think people would download from touristy areas, it's kind of an interesting perspective. Okay,
So as requested, as part of their grants, they were required to produce a quarterly report, and this is the one from RFA.
and has the Mitchell said anything about,
She didn't get it in time for the board meeting, so I'll have it at the next meeting.
So are they open now? I keep going by there and it seems like they're not open as much as they're supposed to
The
be.
Mitchell Museum, yeah, they are open.
yeah, I've
Yeah.
been in there a couple times. Okay, any comments about that? Chronicle News,
Well, wait a minute, the next one is the grant extension for the Mitchell, so as part of their grant, so you'll see the letter that we sent to Allison. The board unanimously approved a monthly stipend of $625 for the months of July through December for a total grant amount of $37,500, with a reevaluation in January 2020 for an extended 6-month period from December through June 2020, if they follow the terms and conditions. So their visitation numbers, she is producing, producing her financial statement, and she did change the days of operation to 6 days a week. So she's fulfilled all of her, requirements.
Except for not giving us this.
She just didn't get it in time, she'll have it at the next meeting.
So on that, I see that we just, when we do get that, then we move forward with.
Okay, you won't be able to vote at the next meeting, I'll have to wait until February, so it's gonna
That's-
set you back an entire month.
That's fine if you don't have
Okay.
what we're asking for, then you can't really move forward with it.
Well, what you can do is at that, is that a work session that you said, is that what it is, why you can't move on it?
Right, so you can actually make a motion now to approve the extension dependent upon
Yeah,
the,
based-
that her
Her report
report
is
is received at the next meeting.
And what you can do at that work session, you can have a short regular session.
Or you can do it that
That's-
way.
You could do
Yeah.
that.
To approve it.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it that
Yeah,
way.
That's the
let's do
way-
it that
that's the
way.
way I
Let's see
would
what
see
she
Okay, so
does.
I'll put that on the agenda then.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of a special meeting on that portion of it.
Okay. In the same manner, we agreed to have a 3-month, trial period for Facebook with the Chronicle News.
Right.
And upon the expiration of that 3-month period, we were to come to a decision whether to continue the services provided or to terminate the agreement. So, asking the board whether they want to continue or terminate.
How's everybody feeling about that? Have you checked it out on Facebook, what they've done? And how many of those have you really posted, or did they post?
They post most of them. I posted the video, the city video of the drone.
I liked it.
The only thing I didn't like about that, and of course I would not say that too, is that the first full 1 minute, there was not one person on the street, there was hardly any cars. And that's the only thing I didn't like about that video.
Yeah,
It actually, it's at 1 minute and 30 seconds, you see a small child in Chimino Park dancing in the rain. And then there's people, but that first full minute, there's no people. They must have done it early in the morning too, cause there's hardly any cars, it looks like a ghost town.
Well, they did it because of the lighting.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So how does everybody feel like about keeping that, contract?
I would like to go 3 more months.
Okay.
That's mine.
Okay,
my
Camilla?
feeling.
Mhm.
Joey?
Just 3 more months? So we're gonna do
We'll-
3 months
we'll
at a
do-
time?
We'll do 3 months at a time.
So,
We're really not gonna see it, the real effects of it, and if we go into now the spring and then into the summer, and then, we could just be gauging it as we go as to,
and I think it's good, cause it's a new contract and we're kinda swishing through that, so I think that's a great point.
and I don't think it's a lot of money for
Yeah.
what we're getting.
So, would somebody like to wanna make a motion, Tom, to approve it for another?
I make a motion to approve it for the next 3 months.
Second,
I second
Joey, in favor?
Yeah,
I too.
Okay.
Outdoor recreation positions?
This is the email that you sent me, Si, that you communicated with, Tom Perry.
No, Tom Perry actually just sent that out as a
Oh,
blanket
okay.
thing, and I wanted the board to know about it.
So it starts with that letter from Tom, that email from Tom.
Does everybody have a copy of that?
it. Mhm.
Now, after this Shoemaker, this, letter from Shoemaker, is there any other pages on that after that? Cause I don't have any. of those
It
pages.
was a letter from Marty to Allison Shoemaker. Is that the one you're talking about?
Well, I have a letter from Allison Shoemaker to, oh, yes, that is.
Okay.
You don't have
And I
anything
have-
after
There is
that?
nothing else.
I have nothing else after that.
No.
Really?
Uh,
It didn't come up in your packet?
No,
You have a letter to you, from you to her.
and then,
Right.
and then it's all.
So the
blank.
next one should be this piece here.
No,
No.
That
Oh.
is weird. I hate those tablets.
That's what I gave you right back.
I do.
That's the letter.
It's like they never work right.
Sent around.
Let me see on this
If
one.
everybody can take a moment to read it.
Alright, then I'll make you copies real quick of this.
The one from Julian Fields,
Yeah.
that's what you're talking about?
Yeah.
I
Is
have
that
the
on
one
yours?
from
Yep.
Julie, yeah, that, I have
That's
that one,
next.
that's next.
Right.
He was
It's
asking
after the
about
W9.
Allison,
Oh, no, there's nothing on Allison after that.
right?
The next
Is
piece
that
is-
what you were asking for?
yeah, I have
Yeah.
nothing on after Allison
No,
Shoemaker.
that's the only
And-
one.
And,
Oh.
So the next one
Arcade.
should say Julie and Phil at the top.
I have Arcade, Profits and Loss, the letter.
That would be-
Shoemaker, and then I go blank.
Yeah, he does.
Here,
That's crazy, cause it's on everybody else's.
it's on everybody else's, he could use this, mine's up, my other ones
I
are
gave
nothing
him,
but-
I gave him a printed out
Oh,
version,
okay.
cause I don't have a computer. I gave my computer back to Marty about a month ago.
This one's getting ready to go back.
It's your device. Okay,
So the big thing
You
that I wanted
share-
everybody to know
Okay.
is how everybody,
I can get to it.
okay, yeah. I just want, you know, those are stakeholders in town and what they think we should be doing, we should all be aware of what they think we should be doing as an idea for us or something.
So Julian, who's Julian Phil? That's not,
That's me.
It is you, okay.
And Julie Knudsen is with Purgatory Partners.
Okay, so that's who you're talking
Purgatory
to.
River well, let's see, Purgatory, what is
Something
her
else.
organization?
So I keep seeing all this stuff about outdoor recreation and I don't, it's like it's a big buzz, but there's not even no outdoor recreation like set up yet. Like, I think we're kind of blowing smoke up a little bit, you know, on this stuff before we even actually have it in place. You know, like the wormhole's the only thing that we have, you know, that you can go hike and some bike trails, but other than that, I mean, in the winter there's not much going on.
Yeah, right, true, in the winter time, but one of the things that I think we wanna try to do is plant some seed for the summertime.
Right, so what
And I
they're
think that's
doing
what
is
this
trying
is
to
about.
prepare, so this is being proactive, getting ready for something that's gonna happen. You can't just wait for something to happen and then say, okay, it's time to do something.
Is that like our bike lanes that we were supposed to
It's-
get last
it's
year?
kinda-
Yeah. You know?
Well, I did talk to Wally, you guys are, the city is working on Nevada, right?
Yeah, they're trying to work on it. Well, the other thing we talked about is on the, east part of, Main Street, because the street widened out pretty good. So I've been talking to them about that too. One of the things that, I'm hearing quite a bit, and, you know, when I go upstate, and, all the activity that's going on down here, and, community readiness for anything that's gonna happen, and one of the things that's happening with Fisher's Peak, of course, is, we want to try to have, we're going to have a small opening sometime this summer, I'm not sure when, a partial opening of Fisher's Peak. So this is what kind of, this all fits into this, so preparing for that is, I think, a big thing.
One of the things that I would like to see, Phil, is, the tourism in the city. We have like a $300 and some thousand budget to advertise the city. And what does the city have any plans of development, like these lanes that we proposed for the bikes? We have the skate park, we have the aquatic center, we have the golf course, we have all these things, but does the city as a vision see down the road that more things are bringing people here for day trippers, for things to do? Is that part of the city's budget as to creating more things in the city, or like even promoting businesses from outside of town to come in and start things like you had this gentleman that did the tubing down Purgatory, down the Purgatory River. You know, is Wally working on any of those things, or
One of the
the
things that
city?
we did have was the rental assistance program, but that didn't work out real well, it just didn't seem like. And if we do bring it back in any shape or form, we're gonna have to be capped due to some of these rental assistance that we've had. They were too high, so we blew through the money real quick.
Uh-huh.
So that was one thing that you're talking about, like new businesses, startups.
Right.
To help them.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what's gonna happen with that. But as far as, I think, trying to figure out, trying to advertise, you know, I think that's something that we're relying on tourism.
Right,
to
see,
do.
And I would like
that's-
to know what, from the city council, what they think is important for us, their vision for us to advertise and to go out, so we can work together on this.
Well, I think the best thing to do with that, and I know we've had a work session once before, and I think it's time to have another work session, and that should be done probably within the next month or so. To have a work session with the city, sit down together and say, you know, the tourism in the city, to say, okay, let's talk about advertising, how do we promote Trinidad with everything that's happening?
And what do they want to see from us? You know, what do they want, what do we work together on? Cause we would like their ideas,
Well,
you know.
and the reason why I bring that up is now we have 3 new council members.
Right.
And they might have some additional vision that they might bring forward too, so.
Here's one of the things, Phil, is I see is, we brought a presentation to you, to the city council as to what we had done in a year.
Right.
Our response was nothing. We got no response from the city council at all as to any of the report that we had put together. Yay, nay, work on this, do this.
Well, I think what we're looking for is just what you were doing, and it's not so much that we
So-
want to respond
so-
back to. If that's a response that you wanted back,
Mhm.
I don't, maybe I missed it somewhere along the line, but maybe I was, we missed that. If you
Well-
requesting that from us.
That's the engagement where the tourism board and the city council should start to work together as to what is the city council's vision for Trinidad with the tourism board and what we're advertising for. You know, what's the city council, where are they at? We got no response back as to, this is where I like where you're advertising, can you do a little bit more over here? Can you do this? You know, we
Well, one of the
got no
things-
feedback.
Well, one of the
at
things
all.
that you have to remember, the city council is the policy maker.
Mm-hmm.
And we, with policy maker, it says, okay, we have tourism out there, you guys create the vision.
Right.
The vision from city council is, tourism, you create the tourism vision for the area or for the community. And then we can meet periodically just to report back and forth, we can give you some input on it.
Right, that's what,
That's,
yeah.
that's what I want, we're
that's-
ready to create the vision, we just want some input, how they feel. You
Here,
know,
here's
just,
something that I have put together myself. This 368 acre resort that we have, Monument Lake. There's nothing about, where do we go with Monument Lake? It's a city-owned piece of property.
Well, the thing about it is, we have rented that out, or leased that out to
Right.
and they are taking care of that portion of Monument.
Right.
That's he has to create his own vision, he advertises it himself, he does some other stuff. And probably maybe a good thing to do would be when we do have, this work session together, maybe we bring him in as well.
I've tried to contact him.
And we can contact him and say, we'd like you to be at this work session, so he can relate back to how he's advertising.
no, that's-
We would like to give him some money.
Okay,
We would like to help him out in advertising Monument Lake. It's a beautiful piece of city property. Same thing with the golf course.
That's a good point,
Does he
like
have
the
a
golf
golf
course
course
and
event?
I've talked to
That's
him.
a-
I talked with him.
I know, but when he presents his proposal to you, does he
Yeah.
include an advertisement?
he gave us his information
Wanna do
last
the
time.
same?
I can't remember if he
No
gave us-
response.
maybe we just better go march up there, but he's not there, so.
Who's actually in
But-
charge there?
It's,
Brian Mondragon.
Brian Mondragon.
But the one thing is what I'm trying to say to you, Phil, is the things that we have right now are the things that we want to advertise. Does the city have anything that they would like the tourism board to do?
Okay.
It just like-
Where would you, is there some place you would like to see tourism dollars go to?
Sure.
What my vision is from the time I got onto this board, Phil, was to bring a lot of those dollars that were being spent on magazines that we have cut out, is to bring that money back to Trinidad, to like this radio station in Taos for day trippers, the Chronicle News, this New Land magazine, anything that's advertising out 50-mile
Okay,
radiuses.
Here's what I propose, is that if we can get, like I said, a work session together, but I think the people that should be involved would be, of course, you, city council, probably bring in Brian Mondragon, bring in,
Golf course.
the golf course, and I'll bring in also, Crystal Drilling from the, Fisher's Creek, because she is kind of the one that's heading up some of this stuff. And I think those groups, and maybe someone from our Parks and Recreation.
There you go.
Sit down and say, okay, let's see, what are all the ideas everybody has?
Right.
How do we
Create a vision.
police all this
We wanna
stuff together?
create a vision.
Right.
To spend these dollars on, but also my thing is what does the city set aside for development of things for recreational for 1 million people that are coming off of I-25? One of the things that you had brought up to us was this piece of property right behind JR's here on West Main. I think that would be one of the best developed areas. We could put a port there where the trolley could pull in, stop, pick up people. It'd be in a covered area with all the information that's going on with Trinidad. Parking for people who wanna walk downtown area, we have a problem with parking. And, this area right here where all these facilities are now that, for, cannabis, they could park in that parking lot and walk. Now you see semis that have gotten in there and the ruts are so bad. There's one stuck, 2 weeks ago in there and he had to have a tow truck pull it out.
If we
I
split.
just, and then another thing too, it's an opening gateway to the Riverwalk.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
You know, and
and the
there's,
walkways.
I think what I'm hearing from Tom, and it's what is necessary, so we go out and we try to market pretty pictures of Monument Lake and the golf course and all those, but these people are just there, they don't even have asked us if we can work with them, and we wanna work with them. So to actually have the golf course come and say, no, these are the pictures we want you to put in the magazines, and Monument Lake say, this is the guy that caught the big fish that you can use pictures, we want like people to be working with us more, because we're just making good decisions based on what we have, but we could help people more if they worked as partners with us.
Well, it'll allow you to pinpoint
Mhm.
your advertising.
I don't know
Put
if
it that way.
anybody had seen, it was, close to the end of them closing the purgatory, the gates of the thing. But somebody caught a fish about this big,
Wow.
purgatory.
It was in the newspaper.
Wow, wow.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
our,
So-
you know, we have some things that we can work with.
Yeah.
So maybe during work sessions from now for the whole year, we can focus on one other entity minimum coming to us and talking to us at the work session with you know, with the city park, you know, the golf course, Monument Lake, even space to create,
Let me,
any of the city's amenities.
Let me talk to Mike and see when we could fit in a work session altogether.
And I just wanna do a shout out for the semis again. If we put more stop signs, people would slow down and stop in our city more, and less trucks would come through.
Well, one of the problems that, came up a while back was all the semis going through town, not
Mhm.
unnecessarily. I mean, there are some semis that have to come through town, but there are some that
Deliver.
just pass.
Well, if you put more stop signs, they will.
Well,
come
not that,
around.
I think what it is that, I think if you make, there's a way to make those trucks off limits, that they have to go through a different route to get through Trinidad, rather than going through here to follow
could-
the proper route.
You could see them silos, those on bigger cities, those signs,
Yeah.
truck route, off of exit.
Limited
14,
weights.
Would be off of exit 15.
Yeah, limited weights.
Limited weights,
Yeah.
that's what I saw
Well,
all
why
over.
don't you put that on your
No,
thought
let's-
process?
Put
Yeah.
some signs up.
Truck routes.
Yeah.
And, limited weights, I just
And
came
the-
back from
and I'm
Pennsylvania, and that's
and
all
I'm
it was,
sure
limited
the
weights through
state
these
has
towns,
them.
Yeah,
you know.
totally.
I know they have a truck route coming up from the north, but I'm not sure.
Well, one of the signs coming off the Santa Fe Trail, and it's probably been there for 50 years, and it says, no Jake break. You know, I don't know if anybody knows what that is,
Yeah.
but,
Sure.
but those are the things that,
Yeah,
Well, it inhibits the regular traffic to those that, trucks that don't have to come through town.
Mm-hmm.
okay, next, outdoor recreation positions, is there anything about that, is the city council gonna think about hiring any more outdoor recreation positions for the city based on what's going on with Fisher Street?
Probably not right now,
Okay,
yeah. 'cause
and that was a
our-
big note that we would need to know.
Our budget, even
Yeah.
though it's this big, but when
Right.
you start chipping away at it, it tightens up.
Nope, we understand that. CTO co-ops is next. So CTO co-ops, CTOs created, you might not have this then, Tom, if yours
No.
didn't show up.
So there's three opportunities to advertise with the state through a cooperative, marketing plan. There's paid media co-op opportunities, including social media, user-generated content, and digital marketing attribution and research. And what they mean by co-ops then is that they pay a portion of it and we pay a portion of it. So a while back, somebody had asked, what does the state do for us? Well, this is one of those things where they offer us an opportunity to utilize state tourism marketing funds, matching our marketing funds to advertise in 3 areas. I don't know if you actually attended that webinar after all, Si, or I didn't get a chance to. But this is this is an explanation of how that works.
Well, that was the day of the snow.
Right. So as far as social media, once a week they have an opportunity for any of us, where they call us industry partners. So welcome centers and tourism and some CVBs, convention and visitor bureaus, etc., to participate in this program. So the CTO will promote the industry partner content through the Visitor Colorado profile or Facebook page for a maximum of 3 days. The industry partner, us, would create a relevant piece of content. The content should live on our site, so something that we have on our Facebook site or on our website. The CTO will critique the content if they need to be, to ensure that we're maximizing the engagement. The CTO has a final say on whether content fits the program or not. Then they decide how much budget they would like to invest in the program and what the goals are for their effort. How many clicks, how many engagements, how much awareness. The budget requirements are a minimum investment of $1,000. The CTO will match those funds dollar for dollar up to $2,500. If we would like to invest more than that, then they are allowed to invest as much as they would like to above and beyond the match. So for a $2,500, they give us $1,000. That's how their co-ops are working. So if we're interested in partnering with the Colorado Tourism Office, there's these 3 opportunities, and you can look at those more to see if that's something you want to do.
And to make everybody aware of it, is Kathy Rudder still coming tomorrow?
Yes.
So since she's coming tomorrow too, if you guys get ready, that, which is a whole different other subject that looks like we're gonna discuss at the end.
So, if you want to review this further, I can put this on the next agenda so that you can come back with an answer on whether we want to do that or not.
That's
Does anybody have any discussion on it? Joe?
I think it's still, until we figure out our Buxton and all this stuff, where the stuff's coming from, I don't think we do no advertising dollars until we figure out where people are coming from.
Yeah.
One of the things I see is it's a partner, that's what we're
Yeah,
looking for.
it's a partner.
So it's a dollar from them, or so many dollars from them and dollars from us. So that's the kind of thing I'm looking for is partners in everything that we do in advertising, so
And-
that's one of the first ones. So I'm good with
And
that.
while Kathy's here tomorrow, we might be able to ask her about all the programs that she foresees in the future that we can work on.
I'm not sure if that's gonna be the emphasis on tomorrow's meeting.
Can you tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about?
I know we're out of order here because it's actually
Yeah,
on
let's,
here.
we're looking
We're
at
out of
that.
order, yeah.
Okay, so we'll get to that. Advertising, Colorado Life.
The 2 marketing agencies that you identified in your work session that you wanted to move forward with were Colorado Life and Adventure Outdoors. So they have produced the insertion orders and the information about how that, what the cost is. Actually, Colorado Life Outdoor Adventures, the cost went down, and it still includes everything that we got last year. Colorado Life is this one.
How
And
much
it's
did
still
it
the
go down?
$14.40 for the full page, so I actually negotiated that they retain the same cost that we had last year, so that was good.
Which is
I did a good job.
1440 or?
It was supposed to go up to 2,200.
Okay, yay.
Yeah, I mean, it goes up, but you don't get nothing more.
Right, yeah, we're
Yeah,
getting the
it's
same
stupid.
exact content that we got last year, and they wanted $2,200 for it, and I said, oh, I'm sorry, we can't do that. We'd be happy to stay with the same amount that we did last
Yeah.
year.
Well,
So,
that's another $1,000 we could put somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, just not the same photos.
Oh, no, it's a
No.
complete different ad, we will develop an entirely different ad.
Okay.
And we've got till, if that issue is July and August, so I think we have until, the end of March to develop our ad, so that's why I'm trying to get ahead of it this year, so that we're not, oh, you have 2 weeks to get your ad in, and then we don't have
Right.
time to develop anything, so.
When does our photo thing end? That
End of
contest?
February,
Has it started yet?
yeah, January.
Has anybody submitted anything?
Not yet,
So
but
some of the pictures we could use in this ad then?
absolutely,
Will we have enough time?
yep. So I just need a vote so I can get the space reserved.
I make a motion to approve it.
A second?
I second it.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Same thing with Adventure Outdoors.
Now, what magazine is that, Morty?
Adventure Outdoors is the, gosh, that's the one that has the whole 3-page spread on the lakes and the tour and the itinerary that they did. What was the ad? What did the ad look like? Adventure Outdoors. I don't remember what that ad looked like. But I know it was a 3-page spread. And there was, it was a half-page ad. We had 450 words of content, a bunch of photos. We had like 5 different photos, and then we had a homepage spotlight, a dedicated page online, 5 days of social media boosted post. We didn't have a video, but this year we do. 2 additional social media posts and a social media tag, so we'll have to develop our Instagram tag, and I think we decided on Visit Trinidad, Colorado, because that's
Right.
what worked. And then a digital replica. And this cost, what last year was $4,500, and this year I negotiated it down to $3,250.
Anybody input?
Let me look at it real quick.
If you click on this one, I've got it up on my phone. It's Fisher's Peak, Trinidad, Colorado, hiding in plain sight.
Right, that's the one.
That's the
Thank
one.
you.
You can click on it and see.
So I like all the buzz about Fisher's Peak, but I think we really need to market stuff inside. Like Fisher's Peak's not open right now. I think we need to go more golf courses, stuff that's open right now.
Even Space to Create?
Yeah.
When's the opening of the Space to Create?
Sometime this summer, I'm not sure exactly when.
How far is it behind right now?
Not,
It's not.
It's not?
And then the collection of museums, I mean,
Yeah.
you really came here with a child, you could go Coal Miners Museum, Bucket Bloomhouse Museum, you could go Mitchell Museum, you could, you know.
We're talking outdoors. This is adventure outdoors, so we want to promote our outdoor recreation. So whether it be the golf course or the skate park or Monument Lake or the Wormhole Trail or
Well, we have enough of that
the
too.
bike
Yeah.
tours or whatever, we've got plenty of outdoor
Right.
recreation that we can go through.
Okay.
And, the possibility of us not getting a lot of photographs from people entering this thing, do we maybe have to hire someone to?
We might wanna invest in a camera and look at hiring somebody to take some
We
photos.
you know, it should, the last few times we've done a photo show, we did one now, we did one a few years ago too. It's last minute, it's the last 10 days of the photo thing that all the.
I just think we need to find
There's so many
different ways
opportunities to get out there
to-
and take photos every
Yeah.
day.
we just have to build a bigger portfolio of the things that we do have to advertise for when we do these magazines. That way, we're not always putting the same things
And not
in.
just magazines, but
Just
online,
change, right.
digital.
Digital.
It would be nice to know like how many people clicked on this or got this magazine and said, oh, I came to Trinidad because of this magazine,
The Chronicle News told me that they can.
or they can track
They
it.
can track how many people,
Think
did click onto that.
Yeah, the analytics from this, he produced the analytics from this. I presented it at the last meeting when I.
Any of those magazines, they can produce the analytics.
Yeah, they
That's
produce
true.
analytics, and this one had fantastic analytics.
Yeah.
So we're looking for a motion to approve the $32.50 package for everything that Marty's
Right.
said.
I make a motion to approve.
Second,
I'll second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, are we into Buxton now?
We are at Buxton.
Okay. So, it's pretty much as you see it. There was a small session yesterday that was supposed to make us understand it more, but it really didn't make us understand anything. We left there all lost, not knowing anything except for what you have in your hands. And then last night I brought it up on my computer, and I went through it and I said, wow, this is nice and easy. Why did we even do that yesterday?
Here's my thing, how much, did we get a grant for this?
Yes.
How much was the grant?
Oh, wait, did we get a grant for this one?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
We did.
Yeah.
What was it, a $10,000 grant?
No, the
believe-
$10,000 grant was actually for RPM.
This
I
is
thought-
my feeling on the Buxton. Yesterday you guys had a thing on it. I think we should have all been invited to this, being that we all put it together.
Right.
I could see if any of the staff wanted to see it, that's fine with me. But I do believe that this came out of the tourism one, and I do believe that we should, if we're gonna pay this kind of money for these kind of surveys, that we should be able to.
Yeah, I agree.
How can we work with the grants?
I asked.
Okay, so
actually.
when this all came down the pipe, Buxton explained to me that there were 4 opportunities, that at the initial meeting, and that's the key word, is the initial training, to identify 4 departments that would be utilizing the information. The 4 departments would be tourism, economic development, and the city manager, basically the city. So those would be the 3 departments that would be on the initial training, the scout training, okay, which is this first sheet here. How she explained it to me was, then those individuals, those department heads or those entities would take that information back to their groups or their boards or whatever, and then they would do their own training. So the initial meeting included Wally from Economic Development, Cy from Tourism, and Mike Valentine from the city. And I was there as well. So that would be the 4 individuals. The second, the part B of this training is what you have in front of you. So this is the training that each of the departments will hold on their own. This is where each of the boards can do their own training and go in and see how this works. What we attended yesterday was very brief.
It was almost like, here it is.
It was like, okay, this is
And
what
I
you
did
got.
ask, and that lady came back and said, we don't want everybody, we just want one, but I asked, because I didn't want to do it.
But for the amount of money that we spent on this though, that's not a good answer.
No.
It's a terrible answer, cause the thing with this is, back when we approved this, I asked in a meeting, are we gonna have them explain exactly how to break this down?
We are.
Like this, I know, but we missed the meeting to
No,
tell us
no,
that.
you didn't. That was the initial introduction. So now we will invite them to do an individual training for each and every one of you. You haven't missed anything yet. That was just the initial introduction to the 4 department heads. So we will have them, now we have them in our court, now they will come back and they will explain the entire program to us. Now's our opportunity for them to come back and give us a report and take us step by step by step by step, which is something nobody got yesterday, so you didn't miss
Yeah,
anything.
the only thing that they did was show us these papers, and it wasn't even 15 minutes, it was 3:05 when they finally did it, we were out of the room before 3:30.
So now what I'll do is I will call a meeting, everybody will be in attendance, and they will present the entire packet to us as a tourism board. If the city wants to do it individually, they can. If Wally wants to do it individually, he can. But now it's our turn to have them come and say, this is what you got.
How much
I understand.
time will they allocate for that meeting?
I don't know, I haven't spoke to her yet, but I
One of
think
the
it's our
things-
call because
One of the things
we
that
paid a lot of
bothers me-
money for it.
One of the things that bothers me with people making presentations is they put so much BS in there that
But you don't understand
it
it.
obscures everything else. So I like stuff that's very concise, and to the point.
Right.
Because,
Yeah.
and that's what happens with a lot of this stuff, they'll bring this whole packet and they'll try to go through it in half an hour, and it just don't work, or even
No.
an hour, that
No.
don't work.
So that's why it didn't work yesterday, but I did
Right.
say to Marty, I wanna do this, we need to have the board with us, and she asked the lady, and the lady said, it's only gonna be the short thing.
Well, because this is what I'm basing my voting on, is these surveys. I mean, this is the whole
Yeah.
point of having this, is
Right.
you're spending so much money between RPM and this, that's the whole funding of what I'm saying yes or no to
Right.
this year. You know, because I wanna know data, I wanna know facts, who's coming in, how are they coming in, what are
But
they
you wanna
searching
know,
on?
but you wanna know data that you're going to use, that you use yourself, you don't wanna know data from, you know, other cities.
I agree with that, I don't want video data.
Alright, and that's what they do, they'll throw all this other
Yeah.
stuff in there, so you want stuff and information that's going to
Mhm.
contribute to what you guys are trying to do.
But see, that's why I think it's gonna probably be 3 or 4 meetings with this company to really get, like, to break it down. Like, we don't want all this information, yeah, from Vail or Aspen, we want, what's the breakdown of
Trinidad.
50-mile radius?
Yeah,
You know, or
right.
100-mile radius, or New Mexico radius, that's kind of what I like to see, cause then we could really track what it is. I mean, the whole point of this research is to figure out where are they coming from, how are they spending their money, and what's the demographic of how old they are.
I want a 100-mile radius. right through there.
So I think we need at least an hour, because I have all those questions myself to ask.
I would say
Yeah.
longer than an hour.
I think it's probably a 3-hour meeting.
Chris just at 15 minutes,
I
ended
know,
up doing
yeah.
almost 45.
Yeah, and he started talking about other cities, and that's kind of where they veer off of, and they lose us.
That's what I was
They
talking
lose
about.
us. I hate to say that.
So at the board's direction, then I will invite Buxton to do a formal presentation with, to explain everything and give us the information.
Well, I think, no, I think we
Here's-
gotta break
here's-
it down smaller,
Right,
what we
here's
want broken.
what, the key points that are gonna work for Trinidad.
Yes.
And had this been brought to me yesterday that this is the way it was gonna go down, I wouldn't feel the way I feel about it today as to, department heads. But when we sit down and vote on this and put it together, and then you're kinda left out, you wonder what it is.
Yeah, that's all it was.
And
I wasn't leaving anybody out.
2019 wasn't a good year for this board. And I would like to look at it a better, 2020 to being a better thing for this board. Because this board has endured a lot in 2019. And I would like to see a better outcome of, information given to this board about certain things.
Agreed. So does anybody have in mind a specific date that I can invite them back to do this presentation for us specifically?
What's open for everybody? What's the next, meeting scheduled for? What day is the next,
The 22nd is a work session?
Can
do
we
you guys,
do,
go ahead.
just them? On a,
During that work session?
well, no, just maybe another date besides,
That's why I was asking for something specific.
you know, can we, other than our work
Specific
session?
date, so you have nothing else on
We
your
have nothing
agenda
else on our
except for
plate.
Buxton.
Because if
What
we
about
bring
you?
it in on a work session, we've got other things we're gonna discuss, and it veers off. And if we could just have them,
You can't make it as just a work session? I mean, just as our next work session, put them on that?
And leave everything
Well,
else
yeah.
off?
I
Leave
guess we have
everything
some
else?
other stuff too.
I think you're talking about that short, special meeting for approval.
And some other stuff.
Yeah, so we would
But
have,
that's a pretty quick thing.
The one thing that you could get back with them is ask them if they could just put the most important things that we would be looking for the city of Trinidad and within a 50-mile radius, that's gonna work for us.
I would go more than 50.
What kind of a package can they put together for us in that sense, to come and give us the information that we need?
And I think the big thing here is, and just like what happened today, you know, we were giving this gentleman a 15-minute
Right.
window, he took 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And I think there needs to be some control of some of this time, maybe you can say, you know, we're gonna have a half an hour presentation, whatever you're gonna give us, or whatever you're gonna give him, maybe an hour, and then maybe have another half an hour for question and Q&A.
Because we're gonna run into that when we start, getting other people in here to sell them their packages that we do need to cut it down into 15 minutes.
Or maybe have a standard, what our expectations are. If somebody's gonna give us a presentation, they also bring to us what they're gonna do, like if he's gonna bring in radio ads or what he's gonna do at the same presentation. You know,
So you wanna keep it then on the 22nd?
how's everybody? And then I would say, let's ask questions, cause yesterday I could've had a million questions, but the girl was like this, she just was.
Well, she
No.
said a hard stop at 3:30.
Yeah.
She said,
Yeah.
I have a hard stop at 3:30, and that was it, she
And
was
we didn't
done.
even get loaded into the computer until it was after 3, so.
Man, you spend so much money though, it's kinda disappointing.
Well, it's
You
because
know, with
they
that.
didn't wanna spend a couple hours with us, they wanted
Yeah,
us to make
just
an
information
appointment with the board, so that's why we didn't.
I mean, this is a huge investment, I think, for the
Yeah,
city of Trinidad
it
and
is.
the tourism. I
So,
mean,
like, I have-
That's a huge investment if we utilize it right.
I have questions, like I asked the question yesterday about the shoes, but she did that but had to go. I think we need a whole bunch of those kind of questions for her to do, so we
Can
could
we-
say to her, how many people are in the downtown area looking for hamburgers? And she can put up different hamburger places and however she.
So it might behoove us then, people, to stop and think between now and then, what exactly do you wanna know?
And I would even say,
Yeah,
let's
good
We
question.
can
all,
ask them
let's
specifically.
all send those questions to Marty so they can have those reports ready, so we're not sitting here watching them fiddle on a computer, which is,
Show us
What
this,
happened
this is what we wanna
yesterday.
see in your presentation, so if you'll get to me specific questions on what you want to see, then I can make sure they're prepared to do that.
Well, we should probably get those to you by the 15th, and then that way it gives her
Time
Yeah.
to do it.
time to do
yeah.
it.
Yeah,
Are you good with that?
yes, thank you.
Has everybody had a chance to read through it?
Well, I actually got on the computer and looked
Yeah,
at it
that's how
myself.
I did. I
That's
did
what I
too
was
last
doing,
night.
and, you know,
This
I
is
would
a lot
like
of
to have a
information.
more little,
Yeah, but on the other hand, not as much information as what I want.
Mhm.
That's why we need to have a work session with them and ask.
So many layers to it.
And I think that goes back to, you know, will it require more than one meeting with them? And maybe what you could do is break it down as to, you know, how do you begin? If you guys believe it's gonna take 2 or 3 sessions, are they willing to come down and maybe break it down into say, okay, this is the category we wanna discuss this time, this is category next time? I think that way they can pinpoint what they.
What does our contract say with them? Do we have that in our contract when we sign it? Like, how
Entire
many?
explanation, oh, it doesn't say how many.
But I mean, like, yeah, entire, cause like you're gonna wanna like get some training to figure out what to look at, how to look at it.
Right, okay, so on your first page in your packet, it says Scout 101. You can log into the website, there's your login information, takes you to the dashboard page, you access Scout, and it's understanding the navigation, so there's that first layer. Then you go into the data bar, and it explains the items and save and access your favorites. Then you get into your data. You can view the sites, the actual customers, potential customers, experience segmentation guide, I have no idea what that is. Collaborate push pins, so it'll tell you how to mark push pins on where people are. Collaborate your territories. I don't understand 1/10 of any of this. But I think once you get into the website and you can go into these different areas, and navigate it a little bit, maybe you can understand what it is, but I need somebody to stand there and explain it to me. I don't understand it.
That's why-
I went in there and tried to navigate and I got to different places and I was like, what
Maybe.
does this mean to
And
me?
I think that's why they've
no
kinda
idea.
given it to us up front and said, hey, everybody look at this and go over it, and then we'll have our meeting in 2 or 3 weeks, because for them to have done it with us yesterday, everybody would have just been lost, so they just said,
Could they
"Here,
do
lost."
this in,
So
could they,
that's-
one of the questions is, can they do this in segments?
Right.
Yes,
You know,
exactly.
like your data,
Right.
and combine 2 of them, the Buxton's data.
Mhm.
And then we're not shoved a bunch of things
Yeah, that's
on the first thing, but we're able to retain what we got on 2 of those. If that's possible, we could possibly do
And the
that.
big thing too, that I see with sometimes segmented meetings is, a lot of times you'll have a meeting, and the second meeting, they'll bring the first, that information from the first meeting to the second meeting, so I think you need to make sure that they stay on point
Right.
with what you guys are requesting.
Right.
Yeah, it's
We-
pretty
we-
convoluted.
We just wanna be taught how to use the system. And I'm fine with Wally using this in the economic development sense of it.
Oh, it's huge
The city of
economic development
Trinidad,
information.
this is one thing that was explained to me yesterday about a shoe store that could possibly move into Trinidad. And it actually came up with information that this store, with the amount of people that are in this town, the type of company that would come here.
Mhm.
And I could see that on the economic development side of it,
Right.
but
So that was, so I just didn't wanna be handed a form and they couldn't get the technology of it up, but I felt like I wanted to know something before we left, so I asked, well, because it's just so much of a report, you couldn't even see it, she had to leave by 3:30, get off the line. So I said, well, what about like shoe stores, like, or socks, or how can you do that, just to see? So she brought up so quickly, DSW, Red Wing, Famous Footwear, and somebody else, and she could actually see that
And
in an
locate
area
them
that
on-
I could never go to, and none of us could probably even find, we need that training session. She showed how you could eliminate Red Wing people, they wouldn't bring a store here, another store, but Famous Footwear would come because there is one, and so
All around us.
all around us that happened to us, but that's the only thing she showed us, was
But-
just that one thing,
But
and so I wanted to, yeah, right.
that's very informative.
Yeah,
On,
huge.
on that part, because, you know, it's something that you have to work with that you pay for,
Right.
for
But it's a
everybody
tool
that's
that can
involved
be
in it.
used not only for tourism, but it can be used for economic development.
Right.
And the city can use it as well. So there's lots of different entities that could utilize the information that we're getting from here.
Well, how many companies are looking for incentives to come into your community?
Yeah, no,
You
you're
know,
right, right.
When you look for an incentive and the city has this to offer you
Yep.
for coming into your city.
One of the conversations that I had yesterday that was kind of interesting was, I usually work together with Rick Neurotter on how to put our radio ads for KCRT together. And he said, you have your copy ready for your radio ad, and I says, Rick, I says, I'm brain dead. I said, one of the conversations that we had with the tourism board the other day was, if the grandmother comes in with her grandchildren and she asks what to do, what do we tell her? I said, so if I'm producing an ad and we're putting it on the radio, what do I advertise right now? Because we have no events going on, we have nothing to send these people to. And he says, it's odd how people will come to a different city just to go shopping or watch a movie for a day trip. And he said they don't want actually something to do, they just wanna go somewhere different for a different experience, and maybe they wanna go eat somewhere different outside of their city. So now's the opportunity for you to promote your restaurants or your shopping experiences or something like that. He says, we have unique shops here, you have Curly's Beach, you have Purgatory, you have all these different, now's your opportunity, your off-season, to promote your shops and your restaurants.
Here's something
Another
with this
thing,
Buxton thing that I want to make sure is, why don't you get with Wally and with Mike and see how they're going to utilize this, and then get back to Buxton to see what kind of availability with the dollars amount that you're expending, how much availability are they going to give us of their time?
Yeah.
That way you can divide up that time appropriately.
So anyway, promoting our shops and our restaurants, this information is good for us to be able to utilize that,
And to be able to figure out how to use the.
Well,
Who's coming here to do what?
One of the things that came to my mind is I was at a city council meeting, and there was a graph of the sales tax that's given to the city from January to January. The months of January and February and March are totally flat. There's nothing. There's very little tax that's being generated to the city, probably through Walmart and that. Those are the months that I would like to see someone come in and ask for a grant to do something in those months to generate people from outside the area. You know, and another thing too is day trippers. I think this thing is requesting that we do day trippers, that we go after day trippers. Well, you know, that's what we need to do. We need to go after, and especially hit hard on these months where the sales tax is flat, you know, to advertise this area.
Okay, so we're all gonna get questions together for Marty, and Marty's gonna get a hold of them, so on January 22nd, we can have a lesson on how to use the site itself. And maybe even direct Wally or you to get us other information, as soon as we learn how they do it. Okay, and I don't have my final page. What's right after?
RPM update, I spoke with Rob Simon, he is still interviewing some of the local entities, one-on-one. I have a meeting with him on Monday, and he will present a final report to us at our next opportunity, which would have been the 22nd, but we might wanna put that off until our regular meeting.
Okay, and do you want anybody to attend that meeting with you with Rob Simon? Would anybody from the board
Everybody,
like to?
anybody's welcome.
How-
It's a telephone, it's a teleconference,
How
it's
long
not
of a
person.
presentation would that be?
I have no
That's another
idea,
thing
but
you
that
always-
needs to be an entirely,
Yeah.
and that's a
Yeah.
face-to-face.
Mhm.
That's a, he'll stand in front of us and we've
Right.
got his attention,
Right.
and we don't let go
Show-
of him until we're done.
Should that be a work session, a separate work
Yes,
session?
absolutely.
You know, because of the time entailed.
Yeah, so that's why I say not at this work session, we will have to do that at a different time.
And if you can let us know what time that conversation is, if anybody wants to be in that teleconference. Wikipedia?
Wikipedia, somebody had requested, I believe it was you, to add our, website onto Wikipedia, that's been done. Don't know if you checked it or not, but I did update that. And there's also, if you will, any of you wanna go onto Wikipedia and look at that, you can see if there's anything, there might be some changes we wanna make to Wikipedia. I think there's
It's
some
been a while,
opportunity
I know
there.
that one lady was on there.
Yeah, but anybody can get on Wikipedia and do that, all you have to do is log in and make yourself a user.
Okay, Google Ads?
Google Ads, I put that back on there because, that was something that we wanted to talk about, we need to.
Oh, yeah, so we talked about Google Ads when you bring up, on your phones.
Right.
Where to go and information. And do we know anything how to do that? Is that something that the girl that's either doing our site, our website, or anything that the
Well, the
Lions could do?
Google Ads will actually, could either go on our website or it can go on Facebook, most likely on our Facebook, right, Joey?
Right.
Mhm.
You're the Google Ad guy.
Well, the way like say you just go on Google and you type in Trinidad, Colorado, what you wanna do is you want us to be a landing page for it.
Right.
The top landing page right now is Wikipedia, that's the first one that comes up. So, what we should be doing is our website that we created
be
for
on
the
that
tourism
Google.
should be the first one, not Wikipedia.
Not Wikipedia.
Yeah, so you gotta create your Google Ads so you're in that top area.
So we'll need some kind of direction on how to go with Google Ads. Do you wanna identify a budget for Google Ads? Do you want to develop an ad that,
So,
and figure out
so
what
just so you have an
size?
idea, let me pull that up real quick. Cause you're gonna wanna be in Google Maps, Google Ads. So comes up, it's My Business, you have a platform. As of right now, we have 139,000 views, 91,000 searches, and 103,000 activities on our ads. This, for us at Bricks, costs us about $82 a month.
And that's a pretty standard rate. There's lower rates,
But what I would,
depending on your sizes and
But
so forth.
but I think with us, I mean, with the tourism, I mean, we have a budget, just in tourism, I would spend at least $100 with the city of Trinidad.
I agree with you.
You know, that way you'd
Yeah.
probably get at least 150,000 hits. I think
Yeah.
you would get more hits off Google than we would probably anything that we have.
Let me see how you do with yours, how you do your analytics, shall we?
Yeah. And it tells you can do customers, it tells you everybody messages direct, your profile, does your
Is the
website.
Welcome Center on this?
So you
Should
can
the
click,
Welcome Center be on
you
there?
know,
As a Google ad,
Yeah.
I don't have that kind of budget.
and then you can
I
click
don't
on the
have an
report.
advertising budget for the
So
Welcome
I was
Center.
somebody traveling, how did I get to your page?
So if you're just someone traveling, all you'd have to do is go into Google and then you're just gonna type in restaurants in Trinidad.
Maybe that would be what you wanna advertise on Google is the Welcome Center.
That's right, I was gonna say, you could put it on one of the,
And then just start pulling them all up, put you on a number where
Okay,
you're
yeah,
at.
okay, I know where you're at there, okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's kinda what I would do, I mean, I would put a Google, I mean, I think we'd get more hits, you know, to our landing page.
I agree.
But the thing though too is it goes back to this Buxton to see how they searching it,
Right.
cause Buxton will tell you, how are they searching, what's the platform, are they using Google, are they using, you know,
So that should be your question
The
then,
Apple-
Buxton
that should be a
Joey, is
question.
What are they,
Yeah.
what are they searching for? How are they
Yeah.
finding us? How
How
are
are
they
they
not,
finding
why are they not finding us? What
Yeah.
should we be
No,
doing
there's
differently?
your first set of your questions, and we'll add to
Yeah.
those, yeah.
Okay, so, we'll table that until
We'll
later?
table that until we get this
Until we get
Buxton
some
thing under the-
information. Facebook, we already covered that as far as,
well, and I think on Facebook, I think we talked about this, weren't we gonna boost our Facebook page for that photo shoot, whatever? I think we should boost that post,
You wanna
or
boost the
create
post?
one and then boost it.
okay.
I would spend at least $35 to boost it, cause then you're gonna at least get, I don't know,
Well, everybody's on.
Five-
And
yeah.
then, and
It
then
was on my
when you-
minutes, but nobody voted for it, so I couldn't
Okay,
do
well,
anything.
that's-
So you wanna spend $35
Yes.
on a
Yeah.
boost for the,
Yeah,
for the photo contest? I'll need a motion.
I'll make
I
a motion to boost Facebook for the photo contest.
I'll
Well,
second.
Tom second. Aye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Aye.
Kiosks?
Kiosks, I was, directed to talk to the city about the kiosk conversation that was in a city council meeting. The kiosks that they're talking about are wayfinding signage that's being done,
There's several of them around.
right, there are, so there's some at the Welcome Center, they're gonna go up Highway 12, they're gonna go east, but these are historic kiosks. They talk about the history of the area, specifically to that
So describe,
area. It's-
physically describe this kiosk.
they're right at the Welcome
Oh.
Center.
that one
There's-
right at the Welcome
There's
Center.
right on the side of the Welcome Center, and it talks about the Purgatory River. It talks about, Santa Fe Trail. So they're specific to their area.
Uh-huh.
It isn't a tourism opportunity. It isn't an opportunity for us to advertise on these kiosks.
Now, there might be
These are,
some possibility, because I think some of them, the backsides are open, and we might be able to utilize some in that area. How?
I did, I talked to Judy Walden. There's no opportunity for us to advertise.
The one that's, right here on Main and, Nevada, it's a wayfinding sign. I can't remember what it says, but could it possibly have the Welcome Center on it? It's a wayfinding sign.
On Nevada?
It's on Main and Nevada. It's actually right on the side of one of these planters. I don't know if anybody's
I
familiar
don't
with that
know.
one.
I don't know which one.
You know, Marty, you might ask Judy Walden about the backsides of some of these, because I know that question was brought up the night that the presentation was made to us.
And she said,
There was something that the backs of some of these were not being used.
Nevada's.
the ones that she showed me are double-sided.
They are done, well,
Oh,
but that was a question that was brought up. There was a couple of them that I.
There's one right there.
okay.
You just check.
But the information that could be put on that sign as to oppose what it is,
Well, it's a scenic byways project.
Mhm. Well, see, and
It's Colorado Byway
that's a
Project.
perfect place for it. You know, what the information that could be put on that one right there, because you're stopped right after you get off the highway, right in front of Sonic, and you're looking right at that sign. You know, and that would be and I can't remember what's on it, but I think it would be
Can we take a drive after you're done?
Mhm.
After we're done with the meeting? Should
There's
we all
Highway
follow
of the
this?
Legends?
It's
That's
just, it could be the Highway of
I
Legends.
think it says Highway of the Legends.
But I'm not for sure that it says that,
Is
but,
it a CDOT sign?
it's a wayfinding sign, that they had done, it's done in brown.
Yeah, it's Highway of the Legends, I think it is,
Is
it says
it?
Highway of the Legend.
It
Which
just
is-
says highway budgets.
I believe so, I wish you did say something else because no one will get the highway, I wish you would have said,
But the thing of it is to utilize that area right there, right when you get off of the highway, you know, in that sign.
What is the correct answer to that? Behind that gas station, that plot of dirt, that's kind of a triangle, everybody has different views on that. Is that city owned or?
Part of it's city owned, part of it is owned by CDOT, and the CDOT is willing to lease it to the city of Trinidad for like $0.
Uh-huh,
And that is something that I know that Mike is working on.
uh-huh.
And of course, we've had someone who wants to expand their business a little bit. So I'm not sure how this whole thing is gonna work, but there's a lot of ground there that can be utilized
Uh-huh.
differently than what's being utilized now.
And so would it be like a commercial business of some
Possibly,
sort?
yeah.
hmm.
But it wouldn't take up all of it, I know that.
Yeah. Everybody knew that.
I
was
just
right.
think it's a nice piece of property and it creates some parking. And like going into the river walk, walking downtown from there.
Oh, you got a good idea, you know, like the trolley could stop there and
Mhm.
pick up people.
Uh-huh.
And we could
Well, I think if
actually-
we could, then you could create billboard, like our own little,
Right,
little
you could,
Trinidad.
and it'd be covered from weather, as
Yeah,
you're
that'd be a
waiting for
great
the
place
trolley.
for a billboard of Trinidad, huh?
So I think there's
Mhm.
a lot of options to a piece of property
Mhm.
that's not being utilized now.
Right.
And the city owns that property
Yeah,
behind?
well, I see
Some
people
of it.
Some
sometimes,
of it.
sometimes I see people pulling in and out of there, including city trucks. If you're pulling out of Safeway, I mean, you can see how many tires marks are in that dirt, there's
A lot of people park there, go in
Yeah.
there and take a walk down to the river, a lot of,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay, and now we're talking about automobile draft video.
I emailed that to you, that draft video that they put together. Did you
I've seen that,
get an
yes.
opportunity to see it?
Mhm.
I didn't.
I did.
And what'd you guys think?
That's good.
So, I asked them about our commercial that we were supposed to get, that we paid for, and that I sent them footage for and photos for, and they said that they'd been so busy with the show that they haven't done anything with our commercial yet.
Hmm.
So, I will update you as I get information.
When's the last time you talked to them?
That was the day that I sent you the video.
And,
Did we send them the money already?
Yep,
And that was all done when the arcade was here, right?
right,
Mhm.
that, all that footage was made when they
Mhm.
were here for ours.
So that was
Well,
September.
if maybe you could say we could possibly would like to have it for starting of the spring, summer season.
Well, it's supposed to run concurrent with the show,
Mhm.
and the shows are supposed to be aired, if I'm not mistaken, in a couple of weeks.
Well, I would probably highlight that to, and then send it to them like, this is how it's supposed to have been done, are we
And it was prepaid.
prepaid? See, and I think that's where we should maybe change our contracts when we sign, like, put in there a
Yeah, we'll have
retainer
to
and,
remember, yeah, there should be,
and then a date,
should be
you know,
with that.
before final payments.
Cause they had told me, you know, when they were here, they interviewed me, and I asked them when it was gonna come out, they were saying, I thought January.
Yeah.
He said January.
Yeah, they did say January, yeah.
So I think I just press them on it and say.
Okay,
this
so
is
let's,
what we're told.
yeah, let's press on them, let's get an answer, so we're keep moving forward. Meeting with the state tourism director, so are we gonna do like any, presentation on what the tourism board has
Okay,
done,
here's
what
what's
done?
gonna happen with that, like I said, that, you know, that was a request of mine, to get her down here. And the idea behind this is strictly to try to, how we could try to fund the Welcome Center. How do we get that funding back? So I made a couple of notes here that we wanna concentrate on. Of course, one is just, getting funded, number one. And in order to get funded, and ask Marty to get some data for us to have prepared. She's gonna want some data as to numbers and all this stuff, where we were, in the last couple of years. One thing that we do not wanna get into is, you know, she may ask, what kind of advertising we're doing, but where we're advertising, not getting into the weeds of saying we're advertising, you know, in maybe Buxton, say we're advertising in Buxton, maybe we're advertising in this. They may wanna know where we're advertising, but not get into the specific weeds of saying we're spending, you know, $1,000 for this, $1,000 for that, or we're advertising in Monument Lake, we're advertising. I think I would say that unless she specifically asks, I think we stay away from those areas. So let's go with what her requests are. And, cause I think there may be a couple of other people with her. So I wanna stay online and what are her questions for us? What kind
Do
of
we
answers
know
can
what
we
her
get?
questions are for us?
No, we don't.
Maybe one of the things is everybody should have a copy of this Colorado Welcome Center and the state agreement.
The MOA that I
Yeah.
provided to you the
So
last meeting.
everybody should maybe read
Give
this.
me a copy of that too.
I have it in the packet.
And then,
There's
maybe
packets
there's
on
some
there.
questions in there that we could ask off of this.
Cause like I said, she's given us about an hour and a half of her time from 11:30 to 1. And of course, we're gonna have lunch in
We have
between, and we're
lunch.
gonna bring lunch in as well. So what's gonna happen is that between Mike and I and probably Marty will be running that meeting primarily.
Okay.
And we'll see what questions she asks of us.
Who will be with her will be Jill Corbin, she's Destination Development Director for the state, and Taryn Mulch, who is the Welcome Center Director, so those will be who's with her.
So the big emphasis is what do we need to do to try to get that funding back?
Well, is there anything like statistically that we can show her what the current, traffic is on
I
I-25
think-
corridor?
That's what-
I think the
This is
last-
information that I think Marty will have.
It's already ready.
Our last meeting, Marty gave us the entire thing of the Welcome Center. So, we all have that, but I have it in my thing I'd like to have it in print.
I'll have packets ready for everybody.
So is the piece of information that you already have ready for her, is it something that we haven't seen that you would wanna share with the board so that people would know?
No, it's there, everything that's there, you've already seen, yes.
So what we're asking for is the $60-some thousand that they had possibly, that was funding before. Is that what it was?
We wanna see how we get refunded.
Or a portion of
A
it,
portion of it, or
all of it.
all of it, and that's gonna be the ask.
Like, I
How,
think a
what
good-
do we need to move in that, and how do we move in that direction?
I totally agree with you that on our part, it needs to be a positive,
Right.
Right.
outlook as to what the value of the Welcome Center is to Trinidad and to the state of Colorado and where it's positioned.
The other
We
thing
need
that
to sell Colorado more than we need to sell Trinidad, that's,
we'll also need to sell what's coming into Trinidad, we'll need
Right,
to say,
yeah.
cause
Right.
I think cause I talked to her a little bit about, with the Fisher Speak, I talked to her about the space decree, but we're getting a lot of attention, all over the state. And even across parts of the country,
Yeah.
and say that we're being noticed as possibly a destination point, so it will behoove them to fund the Welcome Center again.
And I'm sure she's aware of the amount of traffic that comes in
Right.
out of New Mexico into Colorado.
right, all those
Do you
numbers
have
are
those
in there,
numbers?
she's been given that information as well. So the Welcome Center produces a report annually, or actually semi-annually, our fiscal year, or their fiscal year and our calendar year. So they have that information broken down by both of those markers.
And I think one of the reasons why she's coming down as well is because of all the emphasis that the governor's putting on, and past two governors have put into Trinidad.
Well, I think a good strong point that we have going forward though is, like, we haven't veered off. Like, even though we've lost funding, our biggest strong point is we've still stayed forward paying the bill.
Right.
So I mean, I think it shows that we're committed.
committed.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, that's the
it's-
biggest strong point
So
we
it
have, is
shows
we're
our
committed.
investment, the investment by the state and the investment by the city.
Yeah.
And there's like zero for
Doesn't
the
say-
state.
No, that's what I'm saying, we're still committed, our
And the
commitment's
investment
so
for the
high.
city has increased exponentially.
I mean, that's a
No.
good
Even though
selling
we're not
point
getting
too.
any funding.
What are the benefits that we get from the state now for the Welcome Center?
It's
In
in
the
that
sense-
MOA,
Yeah,
that's
right
what
there.
you get.
In the sense of what's in the Welcome Center, do they furnish the pamphlets that are in there, the state?
No, actually, the individuals' recreation areas or the individual cities
Each city.
provide their own materials.
I
Can
see.
you give me a
But-
copy of that over the way before we leave today?
What they do provide what they do provide is they provide that on the state Welcome Center maps, even though we're not funded, there's a big star next to Trinidad. That means there's a state Welcome Center.
Well, the other thing that we need to do is to try to emphasize on her how what we do here is gonna benefit the
the
balance of
doorway to the
well,
state.
door with the balance of Colorado as well.
Another thing, Phil, we know the numbers are down because of the highway being moved. Is this gonna be a possibility that the state's gonna push for us to move it closer to a highway where there's gonna be more access for people on and
These are
off?
questions she may ask, and
You know, so,
that may come up, and we'll answer those. We'll see what her thoughts are on that.
So the other benefits that we get from being a state welcome center, even though we're not currently funded, is that we get this big star. There's only 11 stars in the state on the Colorado map. We get that. We get CTO buy-in co-ops if we start to partake in them. They said they're gonna do more this year.
Well, the other thing too, I think right now, the people at the Welcome Center, they're promoting, you know, Colorado anyhow.
Right.
Mhm.
So I think we need to tell her that, you know, we
Yeah.
are already doing that. We
Yeah,
just
because
need
we're the
that
first
addition-
place. How
Yeah.
could we not?
So we, you know, we need that additional funding, so we can continue that.
Continue promoting.
Okay,
Our
so
state-
besides
our
getting
state.
into the
Because it
minuscule.
is the gateway into Colorado,
Yeah.
they might stop there, wanting to know about the whole state of Colorado, just
Exactly.
not Trinidad.
The disappointing thing for me was, when the exit was there, we went from 100 and some thousand
140,000 is less
to,
than,
to 22,000 now.
well, yeah,
From the
but
last
just
time I
in
looked.
just in that 1 year that we lost those exit ramps off the highway right there.
So.
I know, it's.
We went
so
down almost less than
100
half.
almost 100,000 people,
Where were we at for 2019, we were at
22,000 something.
2000,
and versus 2018.
2018, we're up about 2,000.
So they're making their way back to find where the welcome center is, but at a very slow pace.
One of the
We've
things.
made some investments on how to get people off. We put up a billboard.
Yeah, we invested in that billboard
To show
off
people
of,
how to get there. That's,
off of exit 15.
we've made some investments on how to get people to that welcome center, but I still get people that say, oh, you're really hard to find, I can't find you. But yet there's 5 different pieces of signage that show people how to get off.
And
good-
that's fine.
People have started to learn not to look at signs. They're looking at their gadgets.
Yep.
Right.
They're looking
And I
on their
think that
phone.
hurt too, not only the exits, I think phones have hurt, modern technology. But that sign he's talking about, that it says the Brown Sign Highway, the legend, I bet you everybody that comes from out of town have not a clue what that is. So it would probably be our benefit if we say Colorado Welcome Center
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
there.
See, and that's,
In a
and
big,
that's
nice
my
sign.
point
5
is.
places that
I-
the Colorado Welcome Center is mentioned.
I went specifically on that highway to look and I counted 5 and I went, oh my God, 5. There's,
And
but
people still can't find
I
us.
agree with you.
Yeah.
And when I come to my store, I send everybody to the Welcome
Let's,
Center.
let's adjourn. Let's adjourn. Is it motion to adjourn?
I motion to adjourn this meeting, I'm so late.
Second. Okay, thanks, guys.
Okay, I threw this